Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Happy weekend. Welcome on board. Please let me know if you can hear me clearly. Thank you so much. Welcome once again to this amazing webinar where we get to talk about um, the built environment beyond the blueprint. I'm so excited to have you guys here, and it's an honor to be moderating this event. My name is Helen Njoku, and I'll be your moderator for this webinar. So, just before we go straight into the business of the day, and I get to bring up our facilitator, I would like to run us through a little bio of who he is, so we get to know who he is, what he does, what he encompasses. Yeah, because I remember sending messages about what he does. I want to believe most of us have gone through this bio of our facilitator, but give me the privilege to also do that once again. So, who is Martins Unduko? He is the founder of the Continuum Concept and a dedicated facility manager based in Kano, Nigeria, with over 7 years of experience across real estate, education, and pharmaceutical environments. He currently serves as a facility manager at Sunflower Schools, where he oversees the daily operations, maintenance, and safety of extensive educational facilities. Martins has held key leadership roles, including head of operations and property manager at 123 Homes and Facility Managers Limited, where he led operational strategy, managed cross-functional teams, and supervised estate development projects. Now, that's to tell you that our facilitator didn't just start yesterday. He's not just coming from nowhere to tell us about the built environment, tell us about the blueprint, tell us about facility management. No, this shows that he has invested in himself. He has done a lot. He has garnered enough experience to be able to stand before us and tell us about facility management. Going further, his expertise in strategic maintenance and operational excellence was further refined during his role as maintenance officer at B Agrovet and Pharmaceutical International. Martins combines operational precision with a people-centered approach, ensuring environments are safe, efficient, and inspiring. He is passionate about driving excellence in facility management through knowledge sharing and continuous improvement. Exactly why we're here, because he's here to share his knowledge on facility management with us. That being said, I would like you to use your emojis as we make welcome Mr. Martins Unduku as he takes us through everything that he has for us today. Please use your emojis if you can hear me clearly. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much. Sir, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mrs. Helen. It's a privilege to be introduced like that. Okay, so I'm going to be turning on my screen. I'm going to be turning on my video rather, so that you can put a face to all of the plenty things that Mrs. Helen has read for us today. I don't know if you can see me, please. Okay, I think I'm using an MTN network. I feel like MTN will probably just need a facility manager because I don't understand. All right, I think I'm up. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Can you see me, please? Is my screen on? Is it? All right, thank you. Thank you so much for being here today. This means a lot to the team, myself personally. It's a privilege to have all of you on board because this is the second edition we're having this webinar, and the first one was really amazing. So let me not bore you with all of that. We're here to talk about beyond the blueprint, and I'll be sharing my screen right now. Okay. I know that we have different people from different walks of life in our midst. I just want you to know that we see you, we appreciate you for being here. Enthusiasts who want to learn about, what facility management is, how the functions and their roles and responsibilities. It's really good to have you here. I would have asked, how is your own profession? I hope you are doing good there, but maybe I'll leave that for later. All right, so beyond the blueprints, beyond the blueprints. Okay. Today we're going to be talking extensively on facility management, and we're going to be doing something unusual, trying to help you understand how we can create value in the built environment, right? My name is Martin Sunduku, like you've heard, and I'm delighted to be spending this time with you today. I will begin with a simple question. When you hear the words facility management, what immediately comes to your mind? What comes to your mind when you hear the word facility management? For so many people, okay, maybe I should just allow us to, let's make this interactive so it doesn't look like I'm the only person talking. Tell me, anyone here, when you hear the word facility management, the words facility management, what comes to your mind? What's the first thing that comes to your mind? Please, there are no wrong answers. Just you can respond. There are no wrong answers, I assure you. Anyone in the chat, anyone, you can decide to mute your mic and just use the chat. Oh, nice. I see one from Shalom. She said building and structures. Who else? Any other person? Any other person? Any other person? When you hear the words facility management, building, you even tried. It's actually very, very exhausting to be explaining this to a lot of people sometimes. But what are we going to do? We got to do what we got to do. So for some other people, when they hear the words facility management, what they think is maintenance, cleaning, repairs, security, air conditioning, power supply, maybe, generators, elevators, plumbing systems, or contractors. And actually, those things are important, right? Those things are very important. But the challenge is that when facility management is reduced to only those activities, we unintentionally reduce the value of the profession itself. Today, I want us to look beyond the physical building, just like Ms. Shalom said. I want us to look beyond the physical building, because a facility is not valuable simply because it exists, right? A building can be beautiful and still be inefficient. It can be technologically advanced, you have all the IoT devices and all of that, and still be poorly managed. It can be expensive, can have expensive equipment and still create poor experiences for the people who use it. So the question now is, the question that we most likely will be exploring today is, how does facility management move from simply maintaining assets to creating measurable organizational value? And this is the journey we're going to take together. So tighten your seatbelts and let's dive in. Tighten your seatbelts, let's dive in together. Over the next maybe 60 minutes, we're going to build this conversation progressively. We will begin with the built environment, because facility management does not exist in isolation. It operates within the physical spaces and infrastructure where people live, work, produce, learn, receive healthcare, conduct businesses, and so many other things. From there, we'll define facility management, beyond a narrow understanding of maintenance and repairs, right? We will also examine some important industry terms. We have so many terms in facility management because languages shape, how we think, then yeah, it shapes the way we think and the way we see things. The way we define our profession influences how organizations perceive our contributions. From there, we will make an important distinction between maintenance and strategic facility management. Listen, we're going to be progressing, right, to making a very important distinction between maintenance and strategic facility management. Of course, we know maintenance is essential, but maintenance alone does not represent the full scope of facility management. After which we will then explore the 5 dimensions through which FM creates value: operational value, financial value, human value, environmental value, strategic value. And finally, we will discuss what it means to adopt a strategic mindset as a facility manager. So this is not just a discussion about buildings. It is a discussion about performance, people, risks, costs, sustainability, and organizational success. So I hope your seatbelt are strapped. I'm going to be moving on to the next slide. Yep, the built environment. This is an important aspect of what we do as facility managers. Before we discuss facility management, we need to understand the environment within which facility management operates. The built environment, I've had this conversation more often. I've created videos, awareness. I've created, tried to educate people what it means. I even put out YouTube conversations talking about the built environment, right? In case you missed all of that, you're welcome, and you're welcome to today's webinar. We're going to be dissecting everything over again. The built environment refers to the human-made surrounding. If it was built, if it was constructed, if it was created, it is considered the built environment. The man-made surrounding that support human activities. This includes our offices, our schools, hospitals, factories, airports, roads, utility networks, residential buildings, and infrastructure. But here's the important point. The built environment is not passive, right? It is not passive. It influences, how people work. It influences productivity. It influences safety. It influences health and well-being. It influences how much an organization spends, to operate. Please, if you're still here, kindly use an emoji so I know I'm not talking to myself. So I know we're riding together. Please, if you're still here, kindly use an emoji. Thank you so much. So let's consider a workplace where, like maybe let's use a supermarket, a mall, right? Where the temperature is constantly uncomfortable. Power interruptions are always frequent. The elevators are, unreliable. You can get on them and then you get stuck. And basic services are poorly managed. Now, the problem is not simply that the building has a few maintenance issues. The organization, on top of those issues, on top of all these issues that are happening, the organization itself may experience loss of productivity, employee frustration, operational delays, increased costs, safety risks, damage to its reputation even. This is why facility management matters. The building is not just a physical structure. It is part of the organizational, like the organization's operating system, right? And when that operating system is poorly managed, organizational performance definitely suffers. When it is well managed, the facility becomes an enabler of performance. So this cannot be overemphasized. I'm sure I'm moving at the right pace and you're following me properly. If you have questions, please do well to drop them in the chat and I will definitely follow up. Now that's the built environment for you. If it was built, if it was constructed, you just know that that's the built environment. That's like, it's like a stage where humans live their lives, right? So yeah, moving on to the next slide. Facility management. What is facility management? Now we are here. I think 2 days ago on my Instagram page, I put out a post, a video where I was explaining. I've had different conversations as touching what facility management is, and I was so glad with the feedbacks I'm getting. I've had about 6 people reaching out to me. Oh, thank you so much. This is some even said that they don't even know, they didn't know how to reach out to me. They didn't know how to explain what they want to ask me. If you are here, I want to say welcome again, because we're going to be exploring this together. This slide now on your screen introduces one of the most important ideas in the entire presentation: facility management. Facility management is often misunderstood because people see only the they see only the visible activities, right? Yeah, it is always misunderstood because they only see the visible activities. They see technicians fixing air conditioning system. They see security officers managing access to facilities. They see cleaners maintaining the environment. They see the facility manager coordinating with the vendors. But behind all these activities are 4 important dimensions: people, place, process, and technology. I'm going to go over that again. People, place, process, and technology. And let's take them one after the other. People, that is you and I. Every facility exists to serve people. We know this. A facility may have experienced, may have excellent infrastructure, but if the people using it are unsafe, uncomfortable, unproductive, or dissatisfied, then we have to question the effectiveness of that facility. People are not an afterthought in facility management. They are a priority. They are the central to the purpose of the facility. So every facility you know today exists to serve people. So that is one important component. The second one is place. The place refers to the physical environment and assets, buildings, the likes of the equipment, the infrastructure, utilities, workspaces, and all the physical resources that supports operations. Now, our responsibility as facility managers is not simply to keep them functioning, right? We must ensure that they remain safe, reliable, efficient, adaptable, and fit for the purpose of which they were brought, right? So that is for place, another important component. Now we move to process. Now, processes create consistency. Like, how do we manage maintenance? Process. How do we procure services? Process. How do we manage vendors? Process. How do we respond to emergencies? Process. How do we manage risks? Process. Without effective processes, facility management becomes dependent on individual effort and constant firefighting, running helter-skelter. I shared a story on my YouTube page some time ago where we had the conversation with someone that joined, and I back in the day, before now, you see people running up and down, and you think that they are doing one job like that. That is just firefighting. No preventive maintenance approach, no proactive, just running up and down. They get the job done, but what happens afterwards, or what happens in between when the equipment fails and when the firefighting approach is happening? So process, an important component. Now, to the fourth one, technology. Now, you would agree with me that technology is changing the profession, our profession significantly. Sensors, building management systems, BMS, data analytics, IoT devices, artificial intelligence. All of these are creating opportunities to move from reactive decision making to proactive decision making. Now, the real question is not, do we have technology? Because I see sometimes when I have conversations with people, they ask, do we have the technology? That's not the real question. The better question is, are we using information to make better decisions? Now, this question, this is where the real value lies. This is where the shift happens in your mind. This is where the shift happens in your mind. As a facility manager, you have to have like a paradigm shift in your mind. The kind of questions you ask are important, very, very important. Now that we understand what facility management is, we're going to be diving into the terminologies that we use in this industry. One of the characteristics of a developing profession is that the language becomes more sophisticated. The terms that we use are important because they influence the decisions we make. Please, if you're still here, kindly use an emoji so I know you're with me and I'm not talking to myself. Thank you so much. So let's begin with the first one on your screen, asset lifecycle. When an organization purchases an asset, the purchase price is only one part of the story. The asset must be installed, operated, maintained, repaired, upgraded, and eventually replaced or disposed of. So the question should not be, how much does this asset cost to buy? Like the shift that I talked about. The better question should be, how much will this asset cost the organization throughout its entire life? This is the better question. This is a major shift in thinking. A major shift. Now, the next on your screen is one of the other terms is preventive maintenance. This is planned maintenance carried out at predetermined intervals to reduce the likelihood of failure. That's preventive, to try to prevent something from happening, right? For example, servicing a generator according to a maintenance schedule rather than waiting until the generator breaks down. Of course, to prevent, to see that I'm thinking ahead of an issue or a failure. Now, the next is predictive maintenance. This one takes it further. Instead of relying only on timely intervals, we use information about the actual condition of the asset through sensors, right? Data. These tools can help us identify declining performance before failure occurs. We have these IoT sensors, we have this data that we've collected from artificial intelligence and all that you have. And the final concept or the final term here is business continuity. This is particularly important because organizations do not only need to operate under normal conditions, they must also be prepared for disruptions. Power failure, Flooding. We're in Nigeria. You should be prepared. Flooding, fire, equipment failure, cyber, of course, cyber incident also, supply chain disruption. Facility management plays a major role in helping organizations continue operating and recover quickly. So the more strategic our thinking becomes, the more we move from what is broken to what could fail, what could be the impact, and what can we do before it happens. Strategic shift, strategic thinking. It moves your mind entirely. So these terminologies are extremely important for us to understand because the industry is evolving. Now to one of the best parts of this conversation, maintenance versus strategic facility management. On your screen, you would see maintenance versus facility management. Strategic facility management. This is an important distinction, right? Maintenance is a critical part of facility management. But also, maintenance and facility management are not the same thing. Just in case you've been thinking that, oh, maybe you've relegated FM to just maintenance, this is me, Martins Nduku, telling you that you are wrong. Maintenance usually ask, okay, how do we repair these assets? That is what maintenance does. Strategic facility management ask, how does this asset affect the performance of the organization? Now, let's imagine a chiller failing in a manufacturing facility. The maintenance response may be to repair or replace the failed component. This is important, this is necessary. But the strategic facility management questions goes further, right? It goes further, like, why did this failure happen? There is strategic facility management. Was the equipment reaching the end of its life cycle? Was maintenance being performed properly? These are strategic questions. Was there a pattern of declining performance? What was the cost of the downtime that it cost when that equipment went down? What impact did the failure have on productions? How can we prevent a similar failure in the future? That is the difference. Maintenance deal with the immediate problem, while strategic facility management looks at the entire system. Now, the objective is not simply to keep using this equipment, right, or to keep them running. The objective is to support the organization's ability to perform, to ensure that there are no breakdowns, there are no downtimes, to ensure continuity. That is the objective, continuity. To ensure that there's continuity, there are no disruptions, people are not coming in and they are worried. Truth is, somehow, when we get into facilities and we are not comfortable, it will show on our body language, it will show on a lot of things. Imagine going to a place where that is somewhere like that is so big, everywhere is just closed, there's no ventilation, and then the chiller and maybe the air conditioning is not working. You will be worried. You might not even go there the second time. There's light though, and all of that. They may have the best of the best prices, but you might not want to go there because their air conditioning system is not working properly. Let me know if you're following me, please. Please let me know if you're following. Use an emoji. Let me know if you're following. Thank you, Francis. Thank you, Shalom. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Uche. Thank you, Mr. Charles. All right, moving beyond the blueprint. This is a central idea of this webinar. Like, this is majorly why this webinar is happening. A blueprint tells us what the building was designed to be. But facility management determines how effectively that building performs in reality. Now, a building may have been designed with sophisticated specifications, and all of that. But what happens when the system are poorly maintained? Because these are inevitable, right? What happens when energy consumption becomes excessive? What happens when occupants are uncomfortable? What happens when the building cannot adapt to changing needs? What happens when risk is not properly managed? What happens when equipment, in equipment failure repeatedly, causes disruptions and disrupt their operations? What happens? This is where facility management becomes extremely important. Now, the blueprint defines the physical structure, but facility management influences the lived and operational experience of that structure. You understand? Now, today, organization expects facility managers to contribute to broader outcome. It hasn't always been like that. Before now, facility management has always been a basement conversation. Is it not maintenance? Call that maintenance guys. God is this. But now we are in the C-suite. We are part of the decision makers. Organizations expect facility managers to contribute to, broader outcomes. They expect us to support business growth, for example, cost optimization, workplace experience, sustainability, resilience, and risk management. This means the modern facility manager must understand more than technical system. We must understand the business that the facility supports. This is the shift from being an operational responder to becoming a strategic business partner. As a facility manager, wherever you find yourself, you are an automatic business partner. You have to begin to see yourself in that manner. Don't see yourself less so. Don't see yourself less. You have to begin to see yourself as a strategic business partner, not just a business partner. Right. So please, as in the course of this session, please do well to drop your questions in the chat, just in case you have any, and I'll be going through them by the time we wrap up. So next slide. Now to the 5 dimensions of value, like I mentioned, operational value, financial and all of that I mentioned in the beginning, that we're going to be diving into progressively. This is one of the most important slides in this presentation. When we talk about value, we must understand that value is multi-dimensional. Operational value, number one. Let's get into it. A facility creates operational value when it helps the organization operate more reliably and efficiently. This includes reducing the downtime that maybe equipment, can create, improving equipment reliability, coordinating with vendors and all of that effectively, and ensuring that critical services are available when they are needed. This is for operational value. That's number one. Number two, financial value. Financial value. This includes, energy costs, maintenance costs. Now, facility management decisions have financial consequences. I used to tell my team this: every facility management decision that you make has a financial consequence. Is it energy cost? Is it maintenance cost? Is it capital expenditure? That's CapEx? Is it asset replacement? Is it emergency repairs that could create downtime and all of that? As a facility manager, you are not always expected to control the entire budget, right? You may not even always control it because, of course, there are finance directors and all of that. But the decisions made within FM can significantly influence the organization's financial performance. So that is financial value, right? This is one of the 5 dimensions of value. Now we have the human value. Facilities are ultimately designed for people. A safe, healthy, comfortable, and functional environment can improve the experience of the people who use it. Now, a poor environment creates frustration, like the example of the mall that I gave. It creates discomfort, risks, and it reduces productivity. This means that occupants' experience is simply is not a soft issue, right? It can have real organizational consequences. This is for the dimension for human, right? And then we have the environmental value. Every facility manager has a major role that we play in sustainability through energy efficiency, waste reduction, water management, waste management, renewable energy, efficient lighting, sustainable procurement, and all that you have. The modern facility manager must increasingly at all times understand the environmental impact of operational decision. Every decision that you make has its consequence, has organizational consequence. And then the last part of it is the strategic value. This is where everything comes together. Strategic value is created when facility management directly supports the objectives of the organization or the environment. For example, if the organization's objective is cost reduction, facility management helps optimize operational expenditure. If the objective of the organization is growth, facility management must ensure that the physical environment can support expansion. If the objective of the organization is resilience, facility management must strengthen continuity and risk management. Now, the question is, can we clearly explain how our work contributes to organizational success? This question now is for facility managers on this call. The question is, can we clearly explain how our work, the work that we do, contributes to the growth and the success of the organization? If the answer is no, then we may need to rethink how we measure and communicate our value, the way we communicate our value. If the answer to it is no, I ask the question. If the answer is no, you don't have to answer, don't worry. But deep down inside of you, if the answer is no, you have to, find a way to re-strategize, rethink how we measure and communicate the value that we create. If you're still with me, please use an emoji so I can know I'm not talking to myself. All those facility managers that are here, please just use an emoji so I know that you are still here. All right, thank you. Now to the next slide, strategic mindset. Becoming strategic in FM requires a change in the questions, the way we ask our questions. A traditional operational question might be, how many work orders or how many more projects are still pending? How many more? Very useful information, don't get me wrong, but a more strategic question would be, what risks are threatening our operations? The difference is significant. The first question focuses on activity, right? While the second question focuses on impact. A strategic facility manager must understand risks. What could go wrong in this? How likely is this to fail? How likely is this to stop? What would be the consequences of this? What can we do now to reduce the risk? The second part is technology. The second part is technology for us, the strategic mindset. Technology is, it should not be adopted simply because it is beautiful, fashionable, or it makes sense. The questions now should be, what problems are we trying to solve with this technology? If sensors can help us identify equipment deterioration earlier, then that technology can, create real value. If data itself can help us identify energy waste, can help us identify water wastage, then the data can support better decision. And finally, on the strategic mindset is alignment. Alignment strategy, align strategy. Facility operations should not operate separately from the wider organization, the goal and all of that, the objective of the organization. We must understand what the organization is trying to achieve. Then after that, we can then ask, how can the facility support the objectives? This is strategic thinking. How can we support everything that is, the objective that are the objectives of this facility or this environment? This is strategic thinking. So like I said from the beginning, you have to have a paradigm shift as a facility manager, not the modern facility manager that just goes with the tone of the environment. At our next slide, practical applications. Now let's bring these concepts into practical situation. I used a chiller earlier. I think we should also, let me use a chiller again. Consider a chiller, right? In a reactive environment, the chiller fails. And when the chiller fails, production stops. Now, the maintenance team is called, a repair is made. Have in mind that during that period, the organization may have lost time, may have lost revenue, productivity, and even the confidence of their customers. That is in the reactive environment. I just want us to put this into real life situations, right? Now, in a strategic environment, when you have IoT sensors, when you have all of that, data may show that the chiller has been performing below normal levels for several weeks or days. Now, the facility management team identifies the issue very early. Maintenance is planned. The intervention happens before failure. The organization avoids disruption. There's confidence with the customers. This is the difference between reacting to failure and managing performance. The same principle applies to lighting. When lighting, replacing a bulb only when it fails, it solves an immediate problem, right? But replacing an entire inefficient lighting system with a modern efficient system may, number one, reduce energy consumption, reduce maintenance requirement. It will improve lighting quality, support sustainability goals, and also reduce long-term operation costs. So the decision is no longer simply which bulbs should we replace. The question becomes, what lighting solution creates the greatest value over the life cycle of the facility? This is the type of thinking that moves facility management beyond routine maintenance. In the nearest future, I plan to have like a physical meeting where we're going to be emphasizing, because of course we are stewards, we're going to be emphasizing the very importance of not relegating facility management to just maintenance guys, right? So I hope that all of us that are here will be available during that time. So the next slide, we have building a value-driven culture. Strategic facility managers cannot be achieved facility management cannot be achieved by one person alone. As a facility manager, you can't work alone. You can't. It requires a culture, right? The first component is data and measurement. We cannot improve what we do not measure. We need to understand things like energy consumption, equipment reliability, downtime, maintenance costs, service performances, occupant satisfactions, vendor performance. But we must also be careful, very careful. Measurement should not become an exercise in collecting numbers without understanding their meaning. The purpose of measurement is better decision making. The second component of building a value-driven culture is collaboration. Facility management does not operate independently. Like I said before, we need to work with finance in your organization, human resources, IT guys, procurement, security, cleaners, operations, senior management, and all of that. When FM communicates only in technical language, it can become difficult for decision makers to understand the value you bring that is being created. We must learn to translate technical work into business outcomes. Instead of simply saying the air conditioning system, was serviced yesterday, we should be able to explain professionally. We could say things like the intervention improved system reliability, reduced the risk of operational disruption, and it protected the expected life cycle of the assets. We should be able to there should be a shift in the way we think. And this is the language of value in trying to build a value-driven culture. Please, are you still here? Please, are you still here? Let me know so we can move to the next slide. Use an emoji. Thank you. And lastly, excuse me. Lastly, we're going to summary and takeaways. All right. As we come to the end of this session, I want to reflect. I also want you to reflect on the key messages that have been shared so far. First, we talked about facility management, right? Which is much broader than maintenance. Maintenance is an important component of FM, but it does not define the entire profession. It doesn't. Second is the built environment. The built environment directly influences operational organizational performance. How people work, how efficiently organizations operate, and how resilient they are during disruption. Please, can I still be heard? Can I still be heard, please? I think the network is shaking. Can I still be heard properly? Okay, thank you. The third one is value. Value is holistic. We create value through operational reliability, financial efficiency, human well-being, environmental responsibility, and strategic alignment. Then the fourth one is that I wanted to go home with today is facility managers. We must position ourselves as business partners. I have emphasized this earlier. Excuse me. We must understand the organization's objectives and demonstrate how our works, all that we do, contribute to them. And finally, the future of facility management belongs to professionals who can combine technical competence with strategic thinking. The future facility managers will not only ask, is the building functioning? Is this working? Is that working? The more important question will be, how is the facility helping the organization perform better? How are the systems we've put in place contributing to the progress of this environment? This is what it means to go beyond the blueprint. The blueprint gives us the structure, but facility management determines how effectively that structure serves people, supports operation, manages risks, creates efficiency, and contributes to organizational success. And I think we've come to the end of it today. We've come to the end. Thank you very much for your time and participation today. My endless hope is these conversations has challenged the way you think about facility management. If there is one idea I would like you to take away, it is this: the value of facility management is not measured only by what we repair or what we maintain or how we operate. It is measured by the performance, resilience, experience, efficiency, and strategic outcomes we help to create. The opportunity before the profession is significant, right? The buildings and facilities we manage are not merely costs to be controlled, because most organizations, when they put out, employment, this thing, description, you will be seeing ability to, it's not merely cost to be controlled, right? These facilities that we manage, they are platforms through which organizations create value. I need you to just be seen. Let this shift, after this webinar, the recording will be made available. Let the shift begin to take place gradually in your mind. You need to, begin to see these facilities as platforms through which organizations create value. And finally, as a facility manager, our responsibility is to help those platforms perform at their highest potential. Thank you once again for joining me here today. I look forward to Beyond the Blueprint, more of our conversations, and even a physical class in the nearest future. My name is Martins. Thank you so much. Over to you, Mrs. Helen.
Thank you so much, sir. Please, let's keep the emojis coming. Let's keep the emojis coming. That was a very wonderful session, power packed, I must say. Thank you very much, sir, for that. And thank you to everybody who stayed on till the very end of this session. So quickly, I would just like us to go through our questions. I know if you have been with us from the very beginning of this session down to this moment, I guess and I believe you should have one or two questions for our facilitator. So please let me know if you have any questions at all. So maybe you can unmute your mic or use the message platform. Anybody with any questions, please indicate. Mr. Francis, Ms. Shalom, Mr. Chibike, Mr. Charles, any questions from our end? Any questions at all? Any questions about facility management at all? I mean, our facilitator has been kind enough to break it down to the minimalist. That's what I believe. That's what I know for myself. So please, do you have any questions so we can just wrap it up? Okay. In the absence of any questions, fine. I want to believe we all understand. That means if anybody approaches any of you or any of us, we can boldly say this is what facility management is. It's not just maintenance, it's not this, it's not that. We can boldly change the narrative for others. This is us pushing. Just know that this knowledge that has been imputed in us is not meant to just stay within us. Let us spread spread the gospel or spread the knowledge. Let's change people's mindset when it comes to facility management. So okay, Mr. Charles. Okay. I would Okay. Let's hear from you, Mr. Charles.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Um, I want to take this moment to say thank you to the facilitator. Honestly, you really did a good job. Now, my question, or should I say, my worry is, as much as these departments or the facility manager is very essential to um, organizations, I still notice that there are a lot of organizations who are yet to adopt this function of a facility manager in their own organization. And knowing that, okay, a whole lot, maybe most of them don't even have an idea. What do we do, or how can we do to like spread this knowledge? Because I feel like there should be some kind of campaign reaching out to these people, telling them the beauty about this thing, because there are a lot of organizations that, due to absence of these facility managers in their organization, it has limited them to a lot of potentials. So I feel like what can we do on our own path in order for us to spread this role, this particular job to those organizations? Was I heard?
No. Yeah, we heard you clearly. Hello, sir. Mr. Martins, if you're speaking, your mic is muted.
I have a question, so should I ask, then you can answer both of us after my question?
Okay, please, a minute. Let's hear from him if he's still on the call, because it looks like his network is bad, so that he would tell us if he can pick the two at once or just answer Mr. Charles's questions first. Hello, sir. Are you still here with us?
Can I be heard now? Can I be heard now?
Yes, we can hear you. Please, did you get Mr. Charles's question?
Yes, I did. I did. I think my network, I don't understand. I think MTN needs facility manager. That's if they
Okay, Mr.
have,
Shalom,
it's not doing
Shalom
good.
has a question too. So, should he put out his question, or you answer the first question first?
Yes, please. Yes, Mr. Shalom, please go ahead, please. Go ahead.
Okay, Mr. Shalom, please go ahead with your question.
Okay. I work in events, yeah, and I work in an event company, and most times when we go to event centers or halls like that, we tend to find some kind of mismanagement, some or like some like call it infrastructure that's supposed to be there and they are not there. Things like parking lots, proper lighting, proper power, how like put the power distribution boxes and convenience too. So my question is there like a legislation, like laws that kind of like make it mandatory for, are they compulsory for facilities to have facility managers to check for this type of issues? Is there like regulation for this kind of things? And if not, uh is there a push for it? That's my question, if you understand, if you get me right.
Okay. Can I be heard now? I hope that this people did not remove me again. Can I be heard now? All right. So, good questions. Thank you. And sincere apologies for we're in Nigeria. That's why we have to be very proactive. You see, me joining, this is a typical example of what a facility management or facility manager should always be ready for. You see me switching into my other device just to ensure. Anyways, make my head no boss. I am trying to remember Mr. Charles' question. Yeah.
The thing is, most organizations like to cut costs. And it is through conversations like these ones that we are having now. It is from here that we will then begin to educate people and help them to see the essence of facility management. That's just the truth. Do you get? This is from conversations like this. Where I work, in the beginning, it was fight, back to back, steady, because you have so many things that are not done properly. You have some positions overlapping without structure. You have, an accountant coming to perform the duties of a facility manager. You see an accountant going to check if the light is bad, and then but you were employed to be the facility manager, but you see maybe the director of operation will be telling the accountant, please go and check, because the structure is not solid. So you find out that many organizations, they like to cut corners, and it is bad. And at the end of the day, you find out that those organizations do not function effectively. There are always chaos. The conflict is repeated. So how do you navigate this? Through workshops, through webinars, through trainings like this, you can now have this, enlightenment, program for these people. What did I do when I was working in that place? What I started doing was I started sharing materials with them. Sometimes when I see somebody going to do something that I'm supposed to do, it's not that I'm not there. It's just there are these people who are just carefree, but their carefreeness causes more problem it causes more damage than repair than good. So what I started doing, I started educating the director of operation. Okay, so yeah, this is my responsibility. I had to print it out again, they put it on a table. We had a conversation. We discussed what the essence of my job is. We talked about it extensively. It didn't change immediately, but gradually. So there are many organizations who don't understand the impact or the essence of what facility management is. They just think that facility management, that is why I said I'm going to be having a physical meeting where we're going to be talking about, the beyond maintenance. That is going to be the theme of that meeting, beyond maintenance, where we are going to bring industry leaders. We're going to bring businesses from different parts of the world. They will sit down in that conference and we'll talk about how maintenance, facility management is beyond maintenance. If you do not have a facility manager in your organization, you're actually doing a disservice to your facility. So awareness, workshop, webinars could go a very long way. And I hope I did justice to your question, sir. Now, moving on to Mr. Shalom. The thing is, of course, facility management is not independent of, policies, right? There is what we call ISO standard. An ISO standard is essentially an internationally recognized rule book or framework. It outlines the agreed upon best practices for a specific task or system. Now, these standards ensure that products and systems from different manufacturers or countries are safe, reliable, and they work together seamlessly. They cover almost every industry imaginable, from agriculture and healthcare to technology and food safety. So that is what ISO standard is. And how did they form this whole thing? It's an independent, non-governmental global body that develops and publishes international standards. Headquarters I think they have a headquarters. The headquarters is in Geneva, that's Switzerland. ISO brings together experts from over 170 countries to share knowledge and agree on the best, safest, and most efficient ways of doing things, whether that involves manufacturing or product, managing a corporate process, or delivering a service. Now, you asked if there's a standard. This is a standard. We have ISO 41001, we have ISO 9001 2015. ISO has published over 25,500 standards, which are designated by a number and the year they were last updated. Like the ISO 9001 2015. While many standards are highly technical and niche, the most widely adopted globally are the management system standard. So if that's what's it called? That facility, they lack coordination, then it is the fault of the facility manager. It simply means that the organization's knowledge should be brought to the fact that the facility manager there is not doing his job. It's not doing his job. We have different standards. We have ISO 9001, ISO 14001, ISO 27001, ISO 45001. We have ISO 22000. We have there are a lot of ISO standards. So if that facility still suffers, it means that FM is not doing his job. That FM is only there sleeping. You see, like you explained, it's actually frustrating. I've been to events, places before, and the way and manner at which they navigate, it's kind of very tiring. But then what do we do? So it simply means that that facility manager is not doing their job properly. I'm hoping that I'm able to bring clarity to you and there's proper understanding of the question that you asked. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Over to you, Mrs. Helen.
Once again, I would like us to use our emojis. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Mr. Shalom, Mr. Charles, I want to believe he has answered your questions respectively. Okay, okay, thank you. Thank you so much. So, in the absence of any other question, I would like to say thank you to everybody who made this webinar a success. Thank you to Mr. Martins. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for the privilege to moderate this session. Thank you to our participants. Without you, this webinar wouldn't have held at all. Thank you so much, everybody. A feedback form will be sent across. Please do well to fill in your feedback and send so we get to understand how you felt and how the session was for you in general. Thank you so much, everybody. Do have a great day, do have a great weekend, and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye, everybody.